Things started when artist Peter Laird invited fellow artist Kevin Eastman to his home. Kevin noticed that Peter owned an original Jack Kirby comic book page. Kevin's favorite comic book was Commandy, The Last Boy on Earth, drawn by Jack Kirby. This led them to become good friends and soon roommates. Their apartment became Mirage Studios, and they would ink each other's work. They created a robot character named Fugitoid and pitched him to several comic book companies, but no one wanted him. One night, Kevin wanted to make Peter laugh, so he drew a turtle wearing a mask and nunchucks. This caught Peter's attention and decided to one-up him, so he drew that turtle back at him. Kevin decided to draw a group of turtles and the title Ninja Turtles. Peter added Teenage Mutant, and history was made. The story of their comic book origin lies in a Marvel comic, Daredevil. In this comic, a truck carrying radioactive stuff is about to hit an old man. Matt Murdock, spoiler alert, aka Daredevil, gets hit saving the man, and he ends up going blind. In this new world, a canister of radioactive stuff falls out of the truck and bounces into a glass bowl carrying 4 baby turtles. They fall into a sewer drain where the canister breaks and the contents land on the baby turtles. Inside the canister was mutagen that would mutate the 4 turtles into humanoid beings. A Japanese rat that had been living in the sewer also comes in contact with the ooze, mutating him as well. Of course, there's other characters developed, such as their ninjutsu master, a rat named Splinter, another play on Daredevil since his master was Stick. The name of the rival ninjas were the Foot Clan, once again satirizing Daredevil's The Hand. The turtles themselves were to have Japanese names, but not being able to think of any that sounded authentic, they changed direction and turned to Renaissance names in Kevin's art history book. After developing the characters and making a gritty story, much like in another inspiration of the duo, Ronin, they self-published 3,275 issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. The book premiered at Portsmouth, New Hampshire Comic Show on May 5, 1984. Eastman and Laird promoted the book in their other comic book, Gobbledygook #1 and #2. In turn, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 promoted both Gobbledygook books. It was also promoted in the Comics Buyer's Guide #547. Today, an original copy of the Comic Buyer's Guide with the Turtles ad is extremely rare since they were printed on newsprint and usually tossed after being used. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 sold out in days, and they soon had to pre-order more books. The duo's dreams of becoming comic book creators came true. Of course, with success comes bootlegs and ripoffs, such as adolescent, radioactive, black belt hamsters, the pre-teen Dirty Jean Kung Fu Kangaroos, Karate Creatures, and Marvel Comics' own adult thermonuclear samurai elephants. Soon, Mark Friedman, a self-made small-time licensor, had been looking for something big. He eventually met Kevin and Peter, and he went to their apartment and made a deal with them, as long as they had the final say on what would be made. Back to the comic, by issue number 11, the two were too busy with international deals and had to introduce guest artists that would take on the stories, giving the comic an anthology feel instead of having continuity. Wanting to get back the continuity of their book, on issue number 45, it was decided to return to the continuous storylines. Finally, on issue number 50, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird returned to the book with the story City at War, which went on for 13 issues. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 62 would be the final issue for Volume 1 of the Turtles' Adventures. It ended in August 1993. August wasn't the end of the Mean Green Machine. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 2 was released in October 1993. The book was now in color and continued the story of the previous volume. This time, the book was written and illustrated by Jim Lawson, who had worked on Volume 1. The series only lasted 13 issues before being canned due to the lack of sales and a flood at Mirage Studios. Issue number 13 was released October 1995. June 1996 saw the return of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into comic book form. Eric Larson of Savage Dragon fame brought them into Image Comics. The books were written by Gary Carlson, known for Supreme, Aquaman, and Nova, and they were illustrated by Frank Fosco, known for Robin, Steel, and Savage Dragon. The book went back to black and white, and this time had much more action. There were major design changes with the Turtles. Leonardo lost a hand. Raphael had a scar on his face. Donatello was now a robot cyborg. Splinter became a bat. Raphael even assumed the identity of the Shredder and led the Foot Clan for a while. Volume 3 ended with 23 issues under its belt in 1999. The final story was left unfinished. Until 2018, when IDW published Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends. This was a reprint of the 23 issues and got Carlson and Fosco to write and illustrate 3 more issues to conclude their story. Volume 3 ended mainly because Peter Laird was not directly involved, nor did he approve of where the story was going, therefore taking Volume 3 out of the continuity. This put the Turtles into hibernation for some time. These first adventures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are different from what most people know about the Heroes in a Half show. The stories and content are more adult, and sometimes surprising things happen, but it's still a really good read. Obviously, there's other Turtle titles in comic book form, such as Archie Comics' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that's another monster on its own.